I'll make a doorway where they said it was blocked up, and I'll trap him in there. He can't get out. The Most High said, I'll make a doorway. I'll make an exit. I'll bust right through the door. So he was flowing in it. He never gave it up. So the Most High sent another dream, right, from the Pharaoh that came into his ear saying, there's a man down there in the prison that helped me. I know he can do it. The Pharaoh said, call for that man. So your difficulties are never truly stoppages. They're just strategies. Twitter, YouTube, Patreon. This is the L10-AoC channel. This is the Anatomy of Change series of lessons that I started quite some time ago. This is another lesson in that series. This is lesson number 10. This lesson is titled The Next Expression of You. It is September 22nd, 2020. I'll begin by reading Genesis chapter 41, verse 39 and 40, and this is about the story of Joseph. We know Joseph had a dream when he was younger, sun and the moon bowing down and so on. Basically, it meant his family and his brothers were going to be bowing down to him. So he was going to be raised up in some amount of authority or power by the Most High. We know his brothers didn't like that. They eventually got rid of him, put him in a pit, then sold him. He became a slave, and in Egypt was sold off to be a slave and was put in prison for many years. So now I'll read here now where the dream actually happened, where he was raised up in power and his brothers were able to see it. So Genesis 41 verse 39 to 40, this is after he interpreted the dream for the butler and the baker, and then now for Pharaoh. And it says here, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, for as much as God hath showed thee all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according unto thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. Actually, verse 41, and Pharaoh said unto Joseph, see, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt. So we're seeing here, according to the story, that Joseph, when he had this first dream that God was going to lift him up and make him great, that's when he was younger, he did not at first see himself being ruler in the land of the superpower Egypt. Such a superpower that even though Egypt was taken down just so long ago, today there's still a lot of speculation and mystery and research done about Egypt. People still fly the plane to go there. Armies are guarding different Egyptian artifacts and so on. And that's the kind of place that was so magnificent that people still heavily concern themselves with it, wondering how could such a place have been? How did it work? They're trying to figure it out. So he could not see himself at that time of his first dream being ruler in this land. But it would still happen. In this Anatomy of Change lesson, the next expression of you, you have to understand also that when you have a dream inside of you, it just did not come from nowhere. It came from the Most High. Something that would lift you up. Every time when you think of it, it does something to you. It moves you. It makes you want to live. It makes you want to go on. It makes you want to put out some more energy, some more effort into your life to get things together for this particular thing, and to get things together in other areas that don't directly have to do with this, but you know that you must get those other areas taken care of in your life so that you can be free to express the you that's waiting on the inside of your dream, that will be seen as the next expression of who you are. Just as Joseph could not right away see how all of his dream would come to pass, he was not able to see it. You might not be able to tell exactly how it's going to work out, But if the Most High puts something in your spirit, don't doubt it. Don't let anyone put you astray, take you off the path, and put you on another path. Now, that's eventually going to happen a lot of times in life, but you have to make sure that you can take the control back to go where the Most High has put in your spirit for you to go. Don't let family, don't let friends, don't let your pocket, don't let your husband, your wife, nothing, your job, nothing should stop you from heading in the direction of the dream that the Creator created and put inside of you. Nothing should. Not even your religious beliefs, your religious convictions should stop that. Anytime your religious convictions from your teachers or the books you read and so on cause you to think that it should not happen, you've got to check that. Investigate it some more by what you see in life, but bigger than all, investigate it within your own heart. Is it right that this teacher or this book or this person is trying to convince me to not do that? You have to weigh that inside of you. And sometimes a dream might not look like it's going to play out exactly the way you're looking for it, just exactly. When he saw stuff bowing down and sun and the stars and so on in his dream and the moon and so on, it's not like he was going to be like some space astronaut, like he's working for NASA or some African space agency or some other kind of agency. It did not mean that. So sometimes, based on the images that you see in your dream and what you feel inside of you, you might have certain thoughts initially, but it does not mean that it's specifically about that. And sometimes we get thrown off track because we think, oh, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there. This is something that the Most High has to work out and lead you. And sometimes it looks through life like you're going in the complete wrong direction. Because Joseph was supposed to be elevated, was supposed to be up, going up. And instead, he went down in a spiral in his life, went down to a prison, went down to a slave, working as a slave in a prison system. And he even physically went down in a pit. And you can lose all kinds of stuff in your life that you think are so valuable, that have such very strong spiritual connotations in your life in relation to the dream that you have, because you can see how this or that fits spiritually. It fits into the spirituality and the power of the dream that came to me in a very strong way, but you end up losing it. And you think, oh, it's done for now. Like the coat of many colors he got from his father, it seems so fitting with the actual dream and the position and so on, and the favor of God to bring about the dream in his life was reflected in the favor he got from his father, who gave him the coat of many colors that says he would shine just like that. But the coat was ripped away from him as he was cast into that pit and put blood all over it. And so the sign of death was over it. Just like David said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And many of us have learned to fear more than to have faith. You fear your way through too many things instead of faithing your way through all that you go through. But David said, though I walk through. And he says, yea, though I walk through. Because yea means it is a sure thing that I'm going through this. But that does not prevent me from seeing the things of God come to pass in my life. Yea, though I walk through. Not just a rocky terrain, but it is the valley of the shadow of something that has been designed to take me out. The very presence is dealing with shadow. So the very presence of your haters, the very shadow is showing you that someone is present who is doing evil to you. Where sometimes, in some cases, you can't even quite put the finger on exactly who, but you just know inside of yourself, it's that one doing it to me. It's this one that's doing it to me. You can just tell. Because you can't catch them necessarily all the time doing this stuff, but the shadow of it, everything about it convinces you that this person is doing it to me. Because the shadow is the proof that the presence is there. The presence of someone doing evil to me. But David said, I will still walk with the Lord. I will fear no evil. So when the sheep is being led now and they're going through that valley of the shadow of death, there's all kinds of wild animals that can take me out. Or I might wander off as a sheep and looking for food, and I wander off and go into a place where there turns out to be not that much food, and then the rest of the sheep move on with the shepherd. The shepherd doesn't even know that I'm there. He can't find me, and then I just run out of food. I ended up dying there. But David was not worrying of that happening to him, because he says, because I am with the Lord. So yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm not going to wander off and get lost. I'm not going to go on a different path that leads me to death. I'm not going to be overcome by the shadow, led astray by the shadow, because the Lord is with me. Because the Lord is what? My shepherd. Because the Lord is what? My guide. The Lord is what? My leader. The Lord is the presence that is with me, that is greater than the shadow that is there to try to do me harm in my life. So because the Lord is with there, his rod and his staff, they comfort me, they guide me, they lead me, they bring me back to the path. They make sure I am fed. They make sure I can stand strong in my spirit. They make sure, the rod and the staff, that I have the guidance and direction of the Lord. But sometimes you are cultured and taught in life in a way that makes you not go along with what the rod and the staff is doing. So you get taken out, you get taken down. But yea, though I walk through all of that stuff, if I can just pay attention to what the rod and the staff is doing, as it comforts me and builds my spirit and strengthens me as I go and nudges me back on the path, then I don't wander off so far that I just lose out. So the shadow might certainly be present, but because I'm guided, the hook is pulling me back, saying, nudging me, come back right here, come back right here. Life is right here. My presence is right here. I am the good shepherd. That means well for you. So as long as you keep in touch with that, there's nothing that's going to be able to take you out. Like the scripture also says, no weapon that is formed against me shall prosper. So the shadowy presence of the person that's doing evil in your life, it can't even take you out. They can strategize all they want. But when the Lord is bringing to pass a dream in your life that he created, formulated, and put inside of you, if you keep trusting him, it does not matter how hard they come against you. My shepherd leads me and guides me on. So who you are is waiting for you to make the next change in your life that coincides with the dream that is already there. With the feelings, the sensations, the inner convictions, the silent convictions that's just there. No matter what you learn that teaches you in your religious convictions to take you off the path, or in your social settings that teaches you and nudges you to go off the path, there's going to be that stillness that lets you know, but this is really what I want to do. It's always going to be there. If you can just follow that and trust in the Most High, bring yourself back all the time, eventually you will find that you make it to that next expression of who you are. So just always make sure when that prompting comes into your life that you take that next step, even when you are unsure of all the details. You've got to step into that transition, that time that brings you into the place where you are shaving off some convictions, shaving off and losing yourself from some of the overreaching controls in your life, from anyone in your life who, after you look back for a while, you realize that by following them, you have gotten farther away from what you feel. Somebody always trying to convince you to come over here, do this, man, do this, do this, do this, come this way, walk with me, do this, but it never gets to fulfill you. You've got to step into a transition time. You've got to step into a transition time when you can shake off all those things. You might start to lose some friends. That's the transition time. You might start to lose some support. That's the transition time. Because all that other support you're getting is just to support you in walking the way that you should not go, because it's taking you farther away from what the Most High wants you to do with your life. But the transition time that brings you toward what the Most High wants is a time that will let you feel like you are washed up, like you are done for. It's going to feel like that at first, like people have deserted you, like systems are not working for you the same way anymore. It's the same thing with the deliverance of the children of Israel in the end times. Look, if the Most High is bringing judgment upon Babylon or upon Egypt 2.0, the way that it's going to happen is that it's not going to quite feel the same comfortable way that you've always felt it. You're used to getting up and going everywhere and doing whatever, taking any job. Now you're finding that you're not quite as free and so on to move around and do stuff, whatever, martial law, whatever. Why? Because when the system is changing as the judgment comes in, things are going to look and feel different. So when you are moving into change into your life, people will curse you and put you down to try to get you to change your mind, to come back under their wings, come back in their fold, to come back and do it the way they want. But know that you have lost their support because you are now beginning not to lean on man anymore, not to lean on their support anymore. You will go through a time of learning to trust the Most High. He will put you through a situation where there's no one you can trust so that you can learn to trust him. He will put you in a place where you feel fearful now that you don't have them to lean on. And he puts you into fear situations so that you can learn to deal with fear, learn to combat your fear, learn to trust him because of your fear. That's how it goes. As you move toward what God wants, it will seem like you are moving away from your support. That's the way it's going to feel. You are not necessarily on the wrong path. Until the Lord reestablishes people in your life that you can trust in and that you can lean on and find support with to help you through. That's how you should think of this thing. So don't become stagnant, just staying in one place, in one belief, when there are even buried civilizations under the earth and under the sea that prove that for thousands of years, long ago, in eras gone by, that people lived on the earth with different beliefs than you now currently have. Those many thousands of years ago, in those buried under the sea civilizations and under the earth civilizations that were taken down and covered up and so on, those many thousands of years ago, no one knew anything called Christianity or Hebrew Israelite. They did not know anything like that. And they obviously lived well for a long time, until the best we're seeming to figure it out is that some kind of judgment happened, because obviously, from what it seems, they started to go astray from what their original beliefs were. And so some great catastrophe came and some judgment came. But when they were living well at first, they were all right. Yet at that time, they knew no Jehovah, they knew no Yahweh, they knew no Jesus. They did not have these beliefs. So it proves that in a so-called golden age, mankind lived on earth with different beliefs. And it's funny that when these catastrophes happen, all of a sudden what springs up? This new belief of these Abrahamic type gods. But people lived with a different belief system and made it long ago and were more blessed. So if you move away from whatever is there going on now that you've been taught, it does not necessarily mean you're going the wrong way. How do you know you are not returning to that which was before all this crazy chaos began to happen on this earth and in your life? To move away from the current could very well mean that you are moving back as the Most High leads you back to that which was. And even the scriptures that you use tell you that the Most High is going to rescue you from all this stuff and bring you back to a belief that is different from what you grew up in. Proof right there in the scriptures that when he comes, it will not be just like this. Even some of the doctrines you are teaching, the Bible is teaching that when you go back into the wilderness, as it puts it in a wilderness kind of way, that some of you are still going to be killed off. Because the stuff you are learning now will still be seen as wrong. So he's going to have to destroy some of you because you can't listen. That means that some of the doctrines you are hearing now that they're telling you is truth is still wrong. So that's what you need to think about. And then in Jeremiah, he's telling you he will give you new pastors. So why you don't use these same pastors now rising up and telling you to be Christian, or rising up and telling you you are Israelite, 12 tribe? He's telling you you are still believing something wrong, so he's going to come and rescue you and give you new pastors, not the ones you have fallen prey to. And that's what's keeping back the expression of you, because you are not hearing the right things. So these ancient civilizations that got defeated, taken down, and so on, their beliefs must have been right, or at least better at some point in the distant past. Because we all say that Earth was once better long ago. So always be on the move. Don't remain stagnant, staying in one thing. Always be on the move until you find the next expression of who you really are. So Joseph could not see the power of the Pharaoh at work in his life when he was in that pit. And he couldn't see it when he was in the prison, even being a slave. He could not see the power of the Pharaoh at first when he had the dream, and even in the prison, that power of the Pharaoh to elevate him out of that prison. He couldn't see it. He couldn't realize it. But just because he could not see it actualized in his life, and he was suffering in the prison and cut off from his family, cut off from his father, does not mean that it was not going to be happening in his life. Your future is going to look different when the Most High brings it about. Just because you don't see it happening right now does not mean it is not part of your future and part of your life. Stop letting them lie to you. There's a whole lot more stuff left for you, so find hope and trust in the Creator. And best of all, find Him for yourself. Because like the scripture says, I am the Lord, I the Lord do all these things. I can cause you to go down in the pit and not stop them from putting you down in there. I can cause you to go down into Egypt and not stop them from selling you into slavery. But it's the same way I can cause you to rise up out of that prison and be second top highest man in the land, because I, the Lord, do all these things, and I can bring you out of that situation that you are in. It doesn't matter who is against you. The Most High says, I, the Lord, do all these things. There is none else beside me. I am God from the rising of the sun to the setting in the west. From the rising of the sun to when it goes down, I am He. There is none beside me. I am God, and I can lift you up as soon as it is time. Like Job says, He performeth the thing that is appointed for me, and many such things are with Him. How do you know exactly what the Lord has appointed for you until He gets it done? So if He show you in the stuff in your heart, you don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but He has appointed stuff for you, and He's placed it inside your heart. And that's why you can't search it out in its fullness, because it says He has put eternity in our hearts. So eternity, you don't have the fullness of knowledge about all of eternity. So you're just going on a search to find out what has been placed in eternity for you in your heart. That's why you have a dream that is set and cradled, nested in eternity in your heart. And you go on a journey to find out exactly what has been placed there in this eternal dream that's in my heart, that will not die. That's why you know it's eternal, that dream in your heart, because it will not die. They worked against you, strategized against you, fought against you, took you down as much as they could. But the eternal dream still stayed there. It just will not die. It was there even before you were born. Because like He said to Jeremiah, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Because I placed an eternal knowing inside of your heart. I placed an eternal dream inside of your heart. I knew thee. He knew you before you got here. And He knew He was going to bring you through in spite of all the haters do to you. In spite of the wrong doctrines they do to you, in spite of the wrong paths they told you to walk on, in spite of the covering they put over your face, I, the Lord, will bring you out. This is the anatomy of change. Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, Yalak Emmett channel. So the eternal dream, it still lives, because no matter what they do to you, it still drives you nuts if you try to ignore it. It still keeps you up at night saying, I should be getting back to this. You're doing all those overtime shifts saying you're working because your passion is not being realized. You're not acting on your dreams. So you're trying to cover it up with more work. You're covering it up with more play. You're covering it up with more sex. You're covering it up with more friends. When you should be having some quiet time sometimes to reflect, you're covering it up with more Passover. You're covering it up with more Sabbath meetings. You're covering it up with more church meetings. You're covering it up with more prayer meetings. And the Most I say, why don't you try just to be still for a moment instead of busying yourself with all these social and religious busyness in your schedule? Just be still and figure out what I'm trying to do to you internally. So Psalm 46, I believe it says, be still and know that I am God. So let's read Psalm 46 and verse 2. Therefore will not we fear, though the earth be removed. Right? So even though all your security is moved from under your feet, right? Whether it's a physical stuff, catastrophe that's happening and the earth be moved, or it's just something in your life, we will not fear. Though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though they have put together the most strategic plan to take you out. If God is your strength, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, you don't know how you're going to survive this next thing. You don't know how you're going to make it through the threat they've got on your life. There is a river, though, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God, the holy place of the tabernacles of the Most High. All right? And God is in the midst of her. So the city of God, that's you. You are the city. You are the city, and it's going to make you high like in your mind, right? Because you are the very city, the rock, the city, and it's in your mind, it's in your heart, where you put all of eternity is inside of your mind. It's inside of your heart. You are the city of God. That's why the Bible calls Jerusalem as the name of the city and the name of the people. But the people are also called that. So both the city and the people are called by the same name, Jerusalem. Just like you see with Adam and Eve, both of them were called Adam, because it said, and he called their names Adam. So the children of Israel, the people of Israel are called Israel, but the land is also called Israel. Jerusalem is spoken of as being the city, but also the people are called Jerusalem, right? So they share the same name. The people are called by the name of the Lord, but yet we say that is actually the Lord's name. So both the people and their God share the same name. So the city of God in Psalm 46 is speaking not just about the city of God, but it's speaking about you personally, individually listening to this. And so he says, he shall not be moved. The city will not be moved. As long as you can just be still with the Most High, you will not be moved. It's going to look like they're destroying you, but you will not be moved away from your dream. You will not be moved away from what He has purposed in you, because He put that dream inside of your heart from before you were born, before you were formed in your mother's belly. I knew thee. And when God knows you, that means He's intimate with what's going on in your spirit. I put stuff inside of you no man can take away. I put stuff inside of you slavery cannot remove it. I put stuff inside of you your husband, your wife cannot strategize so well against it that they can destroy what I have placed inside of you. It's a dream that's going to keep you alive. It's what His purpose is that's going to keep you alive. And if you can focus on that, you will not be moved. Meaning you will not be destroyed from fulfilling what the Most High says, unless you are choosing to take yourself away from it. Then you will not fulfill. And even then, sometimes God will bring people around. Just like Jonah trying to hear the word of the Lord. So you know his heart was in it. He wanted to do God's will, but still went on the ship heading to Tarshish. So he wasn't a person who just like get rid of God fully. It's clear he was just struggling, because it says that he heard the word from the Lord, but then he went to Tarshish. So obviously, if he didn't want to do God's will anymore, he wouldn't have been trying to get a word from God, being still in the presence of God to get a word from God. He obviously went to be with the Lord, and so the Lord gave him communication. If he was done with God, he would just don't bother get no word from God, don't bother see the Lord, and just Buy a ticket, get on the boat to Tarshish and say, I'm done with Israel, I'm done with Jerusalem, I'm done with God, I'm done with everything called Israel, I'm done with God's word. And just take off. But to show you in the scriptures, it said that he got the word from the Lord. The Lord spoke to him, go to Nineveh and prophesy to these people. So he still was with God. He was just fearful. So it is in your life. Your fear can come. Sometimes it comes because of your own mistakes and so on. And sometimes just your own lack of details. You don't know how it's going to work out, so you're just fearful. Other times people coming up against you, so you're fearful. Your support has been removed from you. The mountains shaking under your feet. The earth shaking under your feet. You're just not sure. But the Most High is saying, just be still. So verse 10, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I'm going to be exalted in your life above everything that tries to take you out, above everything that tries to take you off the path and tries to claim you. No, he's going to be our disciple. The Most High is like, no, he is mine. No, he's going to be my deacon. The Most High is like, no, he is my prophet. No, he's going to be my usher. No, he is my spokesperson. No, she's going to be my this. She's going to be my that. And the Most High is like, no, she will be mine in the way that I see fit to use her. Because man can claim you, but how can they take you away and claim you when you are connected to the Most High and he already claimed you from the start by saying, I put my vision in you, I put my dream in you before I even knew you, and then someone comes and opens the Bible to you and tries to put a new word into you. The Most High says, I have destroyed all kinds of other stuff before. I will destroy their work and their plan in your life to deceive you and to move you off the path. Just be still and know. Be still and find it. Be still and find it in yourself is what that means. The word that God has spoken to you. Don't go find it in the words of somebody else. You don't even find it in the word I'm speaking to you now. It's the Most High that has to speak to you inside of yourself. Because this word can just direct you to go and search some more. But when you find it, it is between you and your God. It becomes personal at that point. Reason why some of us follow other people for years going the wrong way and wasting our lives is because we have never gone to that place inside where we're just still with the Most High and learn to search in the eternity of the heart and find him for ourselves. So you can't always see what the Most High is doing though, and what he has planned for you. Because sometimes you're dealing with depression, there are problems, there are difficulties, blocked roads, all these things do not matter to God. They don't stop God. They stop you. That's why he says, be still and know. Because he just told you in Psalm 46, although I didn't read all of it, he brings down wars. He makes wars to cease to the ends of the earth, right? He deals with the mountains, the rumbling, the roaring of the weather and so on. He does all these things, he says. He makes even wars to cease. Even the Bible says, if a man's ways please the Lord, he will make even his enemies be at peace with him. You're worrying about this person who hates you so much, this person who's fighting against you, blocking your path. The Most High says, I am in control. Just be still and focus on me still and find your vision inside of you. Locate where it is inside of you. Locate just what I placed inside of you. Don't worry even about seeing all of the vision. Just find the start of it. Just find a part of it and be still in my presence, because I make all those things to cease. I bring down the mountains if that's what needs be. I make the roarings and the thunderings. I even make wars to cease in your life. I, the Lord, do all these things. So let them war against you. Let them fight against you. I make wars to cease. Verse 9, he maketh wars to cease until the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow that was coming against you, and cutteth the spear in sunder that was coming to damage you. And he burneth the chariot in the fire when they get their friends to work against you. The Most High says, I burn up the hosts of the enemy, the strategies that's coming. I take all of that down. I, the Lord, do all these things. But you're never going to see it until you begin to step out and move toward what the Most High wants you to do in your life. That's why Joseph, when the butler and the baker was down there, he moved to flowing in his gift and said, I can help you with that. It is of the Lord to give me. So I will speak whatever I see, whatever the Lord shows me. So I interpreted the dreams. Nothing happened for him good yet, but because he moved in the power of his dream. He didn't say, oh, my life is washed up. I lost the favor of my father. I sure lost the favor of my brothers and got their hatred, right? He didn't say because of all that, I can't interpret dreams anymore. I can't get dreams and flow and work with dreams anymore. And the last dream I worked with, it got me in this bad spot from my brothers. Hatred flowing into my life from my brothers because of a dream. I'm not going to interpret these dreams anymore from Butler and from Baker. He didn't look at it like that. He says, yeah, sure, the dream got me in trouble. Well, I'm already here. I might as well just keep doing it because it can't get any worse than this. It can't go any worse than this right here. So he gave the dream and flowed in his gift once more. And when he did it, still nothing happened. But later on, the dream was still being called on. The gift of dream interpretation was still being called on in his life because the Most High put it there as an eternal thing inside of him. And so the Pharaoh got another dream now, and only the one man, Joseph, could handle the dream because he kept his dream alive. He was still practicing the gift in the prison house, still practicing it with the butler, practicing it with the baker, and you know by that he was practicing it with his own self. By rehearsing the dream in his own self, that the sun, the moon, the stars, all that stuff is going to bow down to him. He was practicing it and felt the fire and the strength of it, that one day God's going to bring this to pass. So he was on fire with it in himself. So when he was on fire, then the opportunity comes, because the fire will attract the stuff that's needed. When you move in the gift and the power that's in your life, it's going to attract whatever else the Most High wants to come into your life. So he was flowing in it. He never gave it up. So the Moses sent another dream, right, from the Pharaoh that came into his ear saying, there's a man down there in the prison that helped me. I know he can do it. The Pharaoh said, call for that man. So the strategy and the enemy of his family members, of his brothers in your life, it might be your other friends and family and even your husband, your wife. But their strategy will still not destroy you, because the dream of the Most High in you will lead you out. If you just don't give up and keep trying to express you until you get to the fuller expression of what the rest of your life should be. He kept expressing the dream in the prison. He expressed it first as a boy when he told his brothers and his fathers, and they looked at him, what, you mean we're going to bow down to you? It got him in some trouble because of the hatred. He expressed a word of God to them, and they expressed evil unto him. And so he expressed it again for the butler. He expressed it again for the baker's dream, and he expressed it and expressed it until he got an expression before the Pharaoh, and the dream led him closer to the time when God was going to bring the stuff to pass in his life. If you sit on your gift and you try to serve other men instead of serving the Lord, you will become stagnant, but your dream will bring you out. Keep your dream alive. Keep your dream in the forefront of your mind. Everybody else's dream takes second place to you. Keep yours alive. They're working on yours and want you to help them with yours. Do you. Practice your stuff. Move in your gift. Move according to your promptings. You do that. Whatever is prompting in you, it's the Most High. It will bring you out. So all this difficulty, it matters to you. It does not matter to God. Because when they put him down in a pit, God says, I got a strategy for that. I will move you down to Egypt. And it looks like, oh, this don't look like any strategy, God. You mean selling me into slavery, allowing them to sell me into slavery and not stopping me? God could have convicted one of the brothers there, or convicted half the brothers to rise up against the other half. Or he could have convicted all of them and let them be smitten in their minds and saying, it's wrong, we cannot do this to our brother. If we want to be wicked, we have to do something else to him. Let's just beat him up or something, or we'll get him back in some other kind of way. But through their evil strategy, the Most High worked. So in the strategy that comes against your life is a strategy embedded in it that the Most High already worked out a long time ago, because from the moment he put his dream in you and saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. He already knew how you were going to come out, because he laced your life and your situations with the exit, the deliverance of God. Was already worked out for everything that you would have ever gone through to bring the dream out of the prison they put you in. So when they said, let's sell him to Egypt, the Most High's like, exactly, because that's exactly where I want him to be. They can fight against you, trip you up, push you to the back. The Most High might just want you to be at the back, because at the back you might end up meeting somebody who will come in later on one day and can't get up to the front, and because they're stuck on the back, they'll end up talking to you because you're also at the back. Next thing you know, you make a connection with them. You don't know how God works in this thing. Don't limit him. Just be still and know I'm pushed to the back, but be still. God's got this. Let's read the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verse 6 and 7. That they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. So there's no devil. There's no Satan to worry about. There's no evil person who has more power than God that can do anything to stop God. He says, I am the Lord. There is none else. So when you're there talking about, oh, but the devil vowed to get me, the Most High says, I am the Lord and there is none else. Yeah, but my husband, he's going to stop me. I am the Lord and there is none else. Yeah, but my wife has power. No. The Most High says, there is none beside me that has that kind of power to do what they want to do. Oh, but this one says it, and the leader says that, and this one says that, and the whatever says that. There is none beside me. Doesn't mean you're not going to get in some trouble sometime. Obviously, in the story, Joseph got into some trouble, but the trouble was actually the doorway or the gateway into the future, the fulfillment of a dream. The doorway into your promise and into your deliverance might just be the very situation they set up to destroy you, and God will let you walk right into the next expression of you and of who he called you to be. Let them strategize. Let them work against you. The Most High says, I am the Lord. There is none beside me. I make gates and doorways and pathways you've never seen, you've never heard of. So when they strategize and say, I trapped him now, I got him now, the Most High said, if you just be still, I'll work it out. I'll make a doorway where they said it was blocked up, and I'll trap him in there. He can't get out. The Most High said, I'll make a doorway. I'll make an exit. I'll bust right through the door. The road has come to an end. They said, we got him in a dead end now. He's washed up. He's done for. The Most High said, I'll make a road where there is no more road. If you got to walk in the ear, I'll make you walk in the ear. I will get you through because I am the Lord. There is none beside me. I can strategize more than they can. So I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. So when they feel that they're going to bring darkness into your life because they can strategize more than you even know, because sometimes they take you by the darkness they do secretly when they plan darkness for you to trip you up, and you get taken by it sometimes because you didn't even know they were strategizing that much against you. You know they were wicked, but you just didn't know they were trying to do this next thing. But they just did it in secret to trap you, to trick you, to trip you up. So they're doing darkness to bring darkness into your life. But here what the Most High says, I formed the light, and I formed the very darkness that they are trying to do to you. So if I form the darkness, I know it better than them. So I can strategize against their darkness and even use it if I please to elevate you and bring you up to the place where I want you to be second in the land. I, the Lord, do all these things. So trust in the Lord. This is the anatomy of change. It tells you to trust in the Most High. Doesn't matter what happens. If you're losing anything in your life, you trust in the Lord. You're losing your house, you're losing your car, you're losing your job. Trust in the Lord, for I, the Lord, do all these things. If I bring you down and I allow you to go down, I, the Lord, do all these things. When the time comes for you to come up and be elevated, I, the Lord, do all these things. When it comes time for your deliverance, I, the Lord. So I will teach you steps to take. I will lead you. So quit only trying to move only after you have figured out all the steps to take. Take that one step and move toward the things of God in your heart. Notice I didn't say the things of God in your Bible, the things of God in your heart. You use the Bible and everything else as your guide to help assist you in this life. You should be your own Bible, because the Most High put his word in you. He put eternity in you. So your difficulties are never truly stoppages. They're just strategies. They thought it was a stoppage to put Joseph in the pit, to bloody up his coat and show the father he's dead. They thought they were stopping the father from having a son, but the son came back. It might have come back later, but the son came back, and came back with blessings in their lives. They thought it was a stoppage to sell him as a slave, but it was a strategy, not a stoppage. Their stoppage was a strategy to bring him to Egypt, to make him a superpower leader on earth. Your stoppages are just strategies. If you will only be still, not if you will do other stuff that man is telling you, but if you will be still, then it will be known to you the path to take. When you're trusting in man's systems and man's religions and man's whatever, you might miss it. But when you be still in the presence of the Most High, and you live like there for a moment, now you're going to use the Bible other times, but for a moment you be still and you act still in the presence of the Creator, like there is no Bible on earth. You will only have what next to read? The word written in your heart that the Creator put there before anybody ever wrote a Bible on earth. Be still and know me. Know that I am the Lord. Not be still and read your Bible. Not be still and know your Bible. Not read your Bible and know me. Be still and know me. In other words, have an interaction of quietness with me so that you can hear me speak inside your heart. And I will reveal to you the way that you should go. I will work out the strategies and begin to tell you, turn to the left, turn to the right. He will give you the strategies for your life. Then now you are empowered to go and use your Bible and teach people, because now you understand it a little bit more. But when all your knowledge is only according to the Bible, it's not full knowledge. Let's run over to the book of Psalms. So Psalm 105, I'll read 15 to 21. Saying, touch not mine anointed, and do my prophets no harm. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. You see that? God is breaking the whole staff of bread. He's calling the famine, because I, the Lord, do all these things. It's not just the ecosystem that went bad and this and that and too many floods and waters and whatever. No, I, the Lord, am responsible. I, the Lord, do all these things, because this is my earth. It's my creation. Existence is mine. They're telling you, oh, it's just some virus that happened and affect the insects and they eat up the crop. No, I, the Lord, did this to the crop. I, the Lord, do all these things. He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant. So you thought they were doing evil to him. Of course they were doing evil, but the Most High used it as a strategy of sending. So I told you the stoppage is not a true stoppage. It is a strategy. So their evil of sending him to Egypt, selling him as a slave to Egypt, was not a slave strategy to God. That's what it was to them. But to God, their slave strategy was a deliverance strategy, was a sending strategy, a commissioning Joseph in his life to head to Egypt. But he went there through slavery. He went there through the chicanery of his brothers, the evil of his brothers. That's how he went there. Somebody can win in your life and cause you lots of pain and heartache, and it looks for years like they are winning. But if you will learn to be still with the Most High, you will see that the Most High can work through it, and it will be a strategy of the Most High in your life to get you where He wants you to be. They were sending him to Egypt as a slave, by selling him to some slave people. But the Most High says, that's what you think you're doing. I'm sending him to rule in the land. So to them, Joseph was now a brand new slave, but to the Most High, Joseph was the vizier in Egypt, the second in command in the land. Because I'm going to take him up, not through working hard for the position, so that they say, oh, they're going to nominate Joseph now because he's this and that. And by the time he gets to the top, he owes so many people so many stuff. They've paid him so much money and whatever, funded him so much. Now he's got to do what they want. The Most High says, no, I sent him here, and I'm going to put him down from the bottom. So when he raises up, nobody can control him. When he raises up, he'll be my man in the land. My man in the land. Because I took him from the bottom and raised him all the way up. Because that is my strategy to bring him up so I can get a man who will do my will. So whose feet they hurt with fetters, he was laid in iron. And that's how they treat you. They'll have you locked up and cast up. You can't move, you can't budge, because somebody has controlled you through evil in your life. They can release you, but they refuse to do it. But until the time, the Bible says, that his word came. You see, they can only do it so long to you until the time of your word comes. Like I said, Job says, he performeth the thing that is appointed for me, but many such things are with him. They can do all they want, and he can do all he wants you. She can do all she wants you. They can do all they want to you. But when the time of your word comes, when your appointment comes upon God's calendar, it doesn't matter what they want to do to you. When the time of your word comes, the Bible says, when the time of his word came, the word of the Lord tried him and did all the stuff to him, but it brought him out eventually. The king sent and loosed him because he was already tried. The word did his work in his life, but the time came when the king sent and called, bring me Joseph, and made him Lord of his house and ruler over all his substance. Joseph was cut off from his substance, cut off from his coat of many colors, cut off from everything, cut off, no access even to his house, can't go home anymore, cut off from his father, cut off from family, cut off from brothers, cut off, some of you are cut off from children, you're cut off from mother, you're cut off from father, cut off from your job, you're cut off from everything, cut off even from freedom, being in a prison. But when the time of the word of the Most High has fulfilled itself in your life, you're just damn well coming the hell out. Because nothing will be able to stop you when it's the time of the word of the Most High in your life to fulfill that dream that he placed in you from the very start. The anatomy of change. It's all up to the Most High. So you understand that he didn't just get in trouble by himself, and you didn't just get into trouble by yourself if you're trusting the Most High. He got in trouble in the story because the Most High was sending him to Egypt. So note this, when you're coming out, when you're going through, when you're coming out, know that God works in different ways. My thoughts are not like your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. Your way, if you're trying to get to Egypt to become top in the land, you would either try to go there and work your way up or something like that, or you try to buy out who you can. The Most High says, I don't do it like that. I'm not sending you to apply for that position of governor in the land or whatever and tell them all your credentials, how you were trained, you went to MIT, you did all this, whatever, you're whatever. The Most High says, I'm sending you to prison. What? Yeah, you're going to get to prison and work my way up from the... No, you're not going to work for anything. I'm sending you to be ruler in the land, but I'm sending you to stop along the way first in prison. Hang tight in there. Keep your gift working. When it's time, I'm going to pull you out. I need you to sit in Egypt for a while. I need you to sit like you're dormant for a while. I need you cut off from all those haters. Let them not see you for a long time. They're going to wonder what in the world is going on with him now. What in the world is going on with her now? What's she up to now? What's he up to now? What's going on? What's going on? But the Most High says, I'm going to put some distance between you and them. And after a while, I'm going to pull you up when it's time on the calendar. I'm going to cut you off. My strategy says, go to Egypt. Go sit in a prison and look like you're going down, like you're done for. But I'm going to bring you out. And you have to go through all your troubles in this life, knowing that the Most High will bring you out. When you lose the hope and understanding that your God can do it. You know, Joseph never thought that the Most High was not with him. That's why he kept using his gift. He said the Most High is still active. He was just wondering, is it time? Is it time now? I'm doing stuff for the butler. I'm interpreting dream for the butler. Is it time? So remember me. I'm doing stuff for the baker. Is it time? So remember me. Asking them. It just wasn't time. But he still never lost faith. He knew he should get out. That's why he was saying, remember me when you get up there in the Pharaoh's presence. Because he always knew he was supposed to get up. Because he had a dream that says the brothers and the father was going to bow down to him. So he knew it should happen. He just was checking, is it time yet? Don't lose your faith. Is it time yet? Wonder all you want. Vacillate between your faith and your doubt all you want. But you will learn in time to trust and have faith. But when the time comes, the Most High will say, bring him out. And notice now, in verse 1 it says, he made him Lord over his house and ruler over all his substance. You don't know what God's doing in your life. It's a lot of heartache, sometimes a lot of pain. Some of us feel more pain than others. People laugh at you and put you down and so on because they're cursing you over this, that, or whatever. But he made him Lord over all his house. So you see the strategy of God now. The stoppage for the others was a strategy in Joseph's life by the Most High. He's making him Lord over all his house, Lord over all his substance, second in command in the land, just like the Pharaoh in the land. He was basically Pharaoh in the land. Whatever Joseph was doing, that was just it, right? Because the Most High set him up in place, put him in a spot where now he was in the prison, but now he is ruler over the prison system that kept him locked up for many years. He was ruler over the magicians and everybody else who could not interpret dreams properly. He made him ruler over the religious system, ruler over the education system, ruler over the prison system, ruler over the legal system, ruler over the supermarket system, ruler over the crops, ruler in the land, over all his house, and made him ruler over the prison system that kept him locked up. Now he was ruling over the prison with a powerful hand. Joseph, God set him up to set him up for greatness. He set him up in the evil plan of his brothers to send him to Egypt, to set him up in power in the land. You never know what God's trying to accomplish in your life, in your problems. You can never fully know the fullness of it. So he made him ruler, elevated him over all of those who had power to delay his life and delay his dream and delay all that stuff. Power, 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 power over everything. So when people are fighting against you, just know they are not in control. They might laugh now and put you down. They are not in control. The Most High has us all worked out. So you're delayed, but not destroyed. Interrupted, but not truly prevented. Hated on, but still unstoppable is just who you are when the Most High calls you to do something for him. So the strategy of deliverance was in Joseph's mind. It was in his very dream. The deliverance was sent and prepared and went into Egypt with him. The deliverance was in his mind. It was in his dream. It was in the heart that sought after God. He went into Egypt with the deliverance. So that means his deliverance was commissioned ahead of his trouble. The same day they were setting him into that pit and selling him to the buyers, buying people for slaves, that same day, Joseph was still moving around in that pit with his deliverance in his mind. It was his dream, his gift. He got in that slave caravan and got into Egypt with the deliverance process working already in his mind, in his heart. It was his gift for the Most High's work. So when they locked him up in that prison, they locked him up with the deliverance right inside that cell with him. He had the keys to get out all this time. God just says, don't open it yet. When it got closer, tremblings and signs of the deliverance started to happen. So little changes started to happen in your life, and you can tell something is changing. It doesn't look quite like the fullness of what I wanted, but something is starting to change. The butler came with a dream, so the little shaking was happening. My gift is activating at another level now. The butler, the baker, the dream is happening. Nothing happened. 2 years later, nothing. But then eventually the Pharaoh said, I have a dream. Who can help me? So your gift, your talent in this life, the thing that drives you most, that nothing else will satisfy, it will never leave you alone. Because the Most High knows without that gift, you have no way out. Nurture that gift, practice that gift, use that skill Train, become skillful at it, learn more wisdom concerning it by practicing and using it. Learn all you can about it, utilize it, do it, practice it, train with it, do whatever. Because every time you sharpen that gift of yours, sharpen that skill of yours, you are sharpening the sword that will cut your way out of the dilemma you are in. Never give up. The way out is the skill you've got. You're going to cut your way out with the skill that you have learned by not giving up on your gift, but by using it, using that skill, using that talent. Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, Anatomy of Change, Yalak Emmett channel. Thank you for listening.